Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial where we are going to learn Python just in 1 hour. I am a full stack developer and working as a freelancer on Upwork.com, and I have been working with Python for over 6 years. Today I am going to show you how you can learn the basics of Python just in 1 hour. Python is such a great choice for beginners. Python is known for its simple, easy to read syntax, making it a great choice for anyone who is new to coding. Python is widely used across many industries, including web development, mobile app development, scientific calculations, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data analysis. Whether you are a complete beginner or someone who wants to brush up on their skills, this Python tutorial is for you. So let's get started. To get started, you will need to have Python installed on your computer. You can download it for free from the official Python website. Visit the Python download page. Choose the version you want to download. If you're just starting out with Python, I will recommend you to download the latest Python version. Okay, so I will just download this. When the file is downloaded, just double click on this file. Click continue. You have to just enter password if you're using Mac. If you are using Windows, make sure to add path. Okay, so Python is installed. Now we can confirm Python installation in our terminal. If you're using Mac, you need to just type Python 3 version. Okay, it will tell you if the Python is successfully installed on your system or not. Okay, if you're using Windows, you need to just type Python version. Okay, you don't need to add 3. I will just check it. Okay, so the Python is installed on my system, so you can easily check if the Python installation is successful or not in your system. We will use PyCharm IDE in this tutorial. PyCharm is a popular integrated development environment used for Python programming. You can download it from official website. You have to just go to the download page and you have to download community version because it's free. So I will download it. Okay, so it will take some time to download PyCharm file. It depends upon your internet speed. When the file is downloaded, double click on the download file to start the installation process. If you're using Mac, you have to just drag it to the application folder to start installation. So it will take some time to complete installation. Okay, so my PyCharm IDE is installed. After the installation is complete, you can launch PyCharm by clicking on the PyCharm icon in your application folder. So I will just launch it. Okay, when PyCharm IDE is open, just create a new project. Just give name to your project. You can give any name to your project. Okay, then leave other settings by default. Then click on create button. Okay, so you can see a new project is created. So this is a virtual environment. We don't need to touch it. Okay, this is out of the scope of this tutorial. So we need to just use this Python main.py file to start our learning. Let's write our first Python program. Print hello world. Here, the print function in Python is used to display output on the screen. It can be used to print strings, numbers, variables, and other data types. We can print this code. You have to just click on Run button. Okay, it's printed hello world. In Python, variables are used to store data. You can assign a value to a variable by using the assignment operator. For example, x is equal to 5 assigns the value 5 to the variable x. The variable can be reassigned to a different value later on. For example, we have a variable age which is equal to 10. Okay, if we want to print this variable, we have to pass this variable to print method. Okay, if we can print it, you can see the variable age is printed. We can also declare another variable cost 10.5. It's a float number. So if we want to print this, we can just replace the variable name in print function and we can just print it. So you can see it's printed 10.5. We can also print strings as well. CodeWithMuh. I will replace the variable in print method. I will just print it. So you can see the string is also printed. In Python, the variable names are case sensitive and can consist of letters, numbers, and underscores. However, it should start with the alphabet letter or underscore. In Python, you can use the built-in input function to get input from the user. The input function reads a line of a text from the user and returns it as a string. For example, x is equal to input function, enter a number. The input function takes a string as an argument, which is used as the prompt for the user. In this example, enter a number, which is a prompt. So let's run this code. So it will ask to enter a number, so we can enter a number easily. So the input function takes a string as an argument, which is used as the prompt. It is important to note that the input function always returns a string, even if the user enters a number. So if you want to use input as a number, you will need to convert it using the int or a float function. For example, if we want to convert this string into integer, how we can do? I will use int method. Okay, so we can run this code. Okay, so it will save this number as integer because we have converted this into integer. In Python, you can convert one data type to another using built-in functions such as int, float, and str. For example, x is equal to int and we have this float number. Okay, in parentheses we have a float number, but we have converted this into an integer. If we print it, it will only print 3, not 3.14. Let's print it. So you can see it's printed as an integer. So the int functions converts a number or a string to an integer. If we look into another example, we have 5, okay, which is an integer. Okay, it will convert into a float and output will be 5.0. Let's print it. So you can see it is converted into float. Another example, we can use str to convert an integer or a floating number into a string. Let's print it. So it's converted into a string. The str function converts any data type to a string. It's important to note that when converting from one data type to another, some information may be lost. For example, when converting a floating to an integer, the decimal part will be truncated, not rounded. A short exercise. Share your answer in comment section with others. Also, if you have not subscribed my channel, you can subscribe now. It helps to create more courses and tutorials for free. In Python, a string is a sequence of characters enclosed in a single or a double quotes. For example, x is equal to hello world, and we can write same with single quotes. Both x and y are strings, and only difference is the type of quotes we used. You can use the length function to get the length of string. Let's print it. So it will print the length of y variable. So you can easily print the length of strings. Let's declare a variable name CodeWithMuh. And here we can declare another variable display, and we can give hello, and we can add this name variable. So now it will print hello CodeWithMuh together. Now let's print this display variable. So you can see hello CodeWithMuh. So we can add strings together using plus operator. In Python, strings are immutable, which means that once a string is created, its value can't be changed. If you need to make changes to a string, you have to create a new string with the desired changes. In Python, you can use a various arithmetic operator to perform mathematical operations on numbers. For example, x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2. Let's create another variable z, and we can add x with y using plus operator, and we can print it. Okay, so it will print 5 plus 2 is 7. We can also use subtraction method as well. I will replace plus with minus, and I will print it. So you can see 5 minus 2 is 3. We can also use multiplication operator as well. So it will multiply both variables. Okay, the output is 10. We can also use division operator as well. It will divide the first number by the second number. So output will be 2.5. If we want to use modulus, we can use the modulus operator as well. Let's run it. So you can see the modulus of 5 and 2 is 1. We can also use exponent as well. So it will print 25. We can use multiple operator in one line as well. Okay, let's print it. So first it will multiply x with y, then it will add x to 10, so it will become 15. So it is important to note that the order of operations, also known as operator precedence, should be followed when performing multiple operations. Parentheses can be used to specify the order of operations if needed. In Python, comparison operators are used to compare two values and return a Boolean value. It can be a true or false depending on whether the comparison is true or false. For example, x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2. Let's print x is equal to y. So the condition is false because x is not equal to y. And if we want to change the condition, x is greater than y, it will print true. And if we want to change the condition x is less than y, it will print false because x is not less than y. We can add another condition as well. X is less than and equal to y. Okay, so let's print it. So it will print false because x is not equal to y. One condition is true but another condition is not. So that's why it will print false. It is important to note that the comparison operators return a Boolean value. It can be a true or false and not the compared values. The comparison operator can be useful in control flow statements like if-else statements and while loops to check for a certain condition before executing a block of code. In Python, logical operators are used to evaluate the truthness of expressions. Three main logical operators: AND, which returns true if both expressions are true, otherwise false. Another operator OR returns true if the least one of the expression is true, otherwise it will return false. NOT operator, it will returns true if the expression is false and false if the expression is true. For example, x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2. And another variable we declare x less than 4 and y less than 5. So we have used AND logical operator here. So if we print z, so let's see what output we receive. The output is true. It's mean both conditions should be same to get the same output. Let's use OR logical operator. In this case, at least one condition should true. Then it will print true, otherwise false. Let's print it. So you can see, as we know, both conditions are true. That's why it's printing true. Let's change the conditions with NOT operator. And we can here change the syntax as well. Y is less than 5. In reality, y is less than. But when we will add NOT operator, it will return us false. So we can use logical operators in Python easily. A list is a collection of items that are ordered and changeable. Lists are written with square brackets and items are separated by commas. For example, we have a list of fruits, apple, orange, and we can add the third one, which is banana. Okay, so this is the list of fruits. So if we want to print this list, we can print it okay, so it will print whole list in terminal. Another example, here you can see you can access items in a list by referring to their index number, which start from 0. So we have placed 0 here, so it will only print apple. So if we want to change it to 2, it will print banana. So the lists are mutable, which means you can add, remove or change items in a list easily. Let me create a list of languages. Python, C++, Java. Okay, so this is a list of languages. Okay, now let's try some methods in list. we have a list of languages. We want to append another language in this list. We can use append method and we can add another language. I will give name Go language. So we can print this languages list. So you can see Go language is added. So we can add new items in the list using append method. Let's use another method which is clear. We don't need to pass anything, so it will clear all the list. It means it will remove all the elements from the list. Let's run the program so we can test it. You can see, so list is empty, no. We can also use remove method. I want to remove C++, and then we can print it. Okay, you can see we can easily remove any element from the list. Let me use another method which is count. The count method returns the number of occurrence of an element in a list. So it will check how many times the C++ is in the list. We can assign a variable, so then we will print. So it will tell us how many times C++ element is in the list. So it's only one time. If I can repeat C++ second time in the list, so then we can see it will return 2. So we can count any elements occurrence in the list using count method. Let's use another method which is index. We can declare a new variable and we can print index here. Okay, so this method will return the index of the first occurrence of an element in the list. Let's print it. So we can see, let's use another method which is reverse. So it will reverse the list. Let's print it. So here you can see it reverses the order of elements in the list. Let's use another method which is extend. We can create another list of subjects. It can be math, computer science. So here we have another list, so we can add this list in this languages list. So how we can do, we can pass the new list subjects in the extend method. So let's print it. So we can see a new list is added into the languages list using extend method. A short exercise, share your answer in comment section with others. A tuple in Python is an immutable ordered collection of elements of any data type. Tuples are similar to lists, but the main difference is that tuples can't be modified after they are created. Let's create a tuple. I will give name number. We can use parentheses to create tuple. Okay, so this is a tuple of numbers, so we can print this tuple. Okay, so we can see the tuple is printed. Next, if we want to access the element using indexing, how we can use, we can give the index 0 because tuple starts from 0. Okay, so index, I will give index number 0, so it will print 1. Let's print it. Okay, so the output is 1. We can change the index to look into the output. No, it will print 3. Okay, so we can use indexing in the tuples to access any element. Okay, also if we want to find the length of tuple, how we can do, we can use length method. Okay, so it will return the length of a tuple. Okay, so the length of tuple is 3. Okay, the output is 3. I want to add another, so no, let's check the output. It's 6 because the length of tuple is no increased. Let's create another tuple. I will give name number 1. Okay, so I will assign some values. So in this tuple we have 3 numbers. Okay, so we can now concatenate these 2 tuples and we can print this. We can create a tuple name number 3. Okay, and we can concatenate number 1 and number. Okay, so I will just concatenate these 2 tuples. Okay, and we can just print. Let's print new tuple. So we have concatenated these 2 tuples using plus operator. Let's print it. You can see both tuples are added in a one tuple. In Python, a set is unordered collection of unique elements. You can think of set as a mathematical set where each item appears only once. A set is created using a curly braces or the set functions. Let's create a set of fruit. Okay, so here we can give some name: apple, orange, banana. Okay, so this is a list. Okay, so this is the set of fruit. We can also create set using a different technique. Let's create a set of number, and we can use here set method to create a set. Here we will pass a list. Okay, so we have these 2 sets. Let's print first set. Okay, we can see the set is printed. We can also print our second set. So we can see a number set is also printed. So we can use these 2 techniques to create sets in Python. Okay, now let's add an element in our set. We can use add method to, we can add mango. Okay, now let's print it. You can see mango is added in our set. You can also remove any elements from the set. Let's remove element apple. Let's print it. So we can see apple element is removed from set. In set, we can also perform many set operations such as union, intersection, and difference. Let's create a 2 sets. We have this set number 1, and let me create another set, fruit set 2, and we can give name mango. Okay, so we have now 2 sets of fruits. Okay, and what we can here, we need to apply union on these 2 sets. Okay, now let me apply union. We can use this operator to apply union on both sets. Okay, now let's print it. Okay, so this is the union of 2 sets. Let's remove this and we can do some intersection. Let's print it, and we can see here, because these 2 elements are in the both sets, so we can see the output. So we can also apply intersection in the sets. Let's change the operator and we can use this operator to perform difference in the sets. Let's print it. Okay, so we can also apply difference in sets. Exception handling in Python is a mechanism for dealing with errors or unexpected conditions that may occur during execution of a program. It allows you to handle these situations in a controlled way so that your program can continue to run even if the part of it fails. For example, we can create a variable here, result, and we can divide 1 by 0. And then we can add another condition, except 0 deviant error. Okay, here we can print 1 cannot divide by 0. Okay, to handle exceptions in Python, you can use try except block. The try block contains the code that may raise an exception. If an exception is raised, the program execution immediately jumps to the except block, which can handle the exception in a defined way. In this example, the try block contains the code that tries to divide 1 by 0, which will raise a 0 deviant error exception. The except block catches this exception and prints a message indicating that dividing by 0 is not allowed. So we can print it, so you can see output is 1 can be divided by 0. Okay, so let's have another example. We can add another condition here, except exception as E, print an error occurred, and we can add this variable here. Okay, and we can add another condition as well. I will add finally print the try except condition block is complete. Okay, so now we have added two another conditions, finally and accept exception as E. In this example, the try block is followed by two except blocks. One handles the 0 deviant error and another to handle any other exception that might be raised. The finally block is executed after either of the except blocks or if no exception was raised at all. Let's print it. Okay, now we can see here it's printed this exception first, and then when block is completed, because the error was due to 0 deviant error. Okay, and that's why it's printed this statements, and after completing it's printed this statements as well. Okay, so we can use exception handling in Python. In Python, comments are used to add annotations to your code. They are ignored by the interpreter and do not affect the code execution. We have two ways to add comments in Python. Single line comments. We have this comment. First comment, it's a single line comment in Python. Okay, we can print here something. Okay, so we can see it will only print the Python code. It will not print or do anything with the comment. Okay, we can also use multi-line comments in Python. We have a new multi-line comment. We can write anything. Okay, so we can easily use single line or multi-line comments in Python. In Python, if-else statements are used to control the flow of program based on certain conditions. For example, we have variable x and we have to write if-else syntax. X is greater than 2, print x is greater than 2. We need to make sure the syntax is correct. And the next condition we can add here, which is else, and we can print here x is not greater than 10. Okay, let's print it. So it is printing this statement because the condition if is true. Okay, so if we change it, x is greater than 10, which is not correct, so it will skip this statement and it will go into the else statement. Let's print it. So no, it's printed the second one, x is not greater than 10. So in if statement, code execute if the condition is true. In else statement, code to execute if the condition is false. So we can easily use if-else statements in Python. Let's make a one change in this code. I want to add another condition, which is elif x is greater than 1 and print x is greater than 1 but not greater than 10. So in this case, now we have added a new condition, which is elseif. You can also use elif statement to include additional conditions. So let's print it. So we can see x is greater than 1 but not greater than 10. So first of all, the code will check first condition. If first condition is not true, okay, then it will move to the second condition. And in the second condition, we can see it becomes true, and that's why it's printed the second condition. So you can use if-else statements to control the flow of program based on certain conditions in Python. In Python, while loops are used to repeatedly execute a block of code as long as a certain condition is true. For example, x is equal to 0 while x is less than 5, print x plus 1, x plus is equal to 1. While condition will execute code as long as condition is true. So this will print the numbers from 0 to 4. Let's print it. So we can see it printing 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. First time this will increment, it will become 1, and the second time it will become 2. So it will keep it incrementing till it's reached to a condition x less than 5. So it's important to include a way to change the value of the condition variable inside the loop. Otherwise the loop will continue to infinite, which is called an infinite loop. and it will crash your program. In Python, a for loop is used to iterate over a sequence of elements such as a list, tuple, or a string. For example, we have a list of numbers. Okay, so this is the list of numbers. Let's write the syntax of for loop. For num in numbers list, print num. So let me explain you the syntax of for loop. Where the list number is a sequence that you want to iterate over, and a variable num is a temporary variable that will hold each value of the sequence as the loop iterates. For example, if we print it in terminal, the following code will iterate over a list of numbers and print each one. So here you can see the code has printed all the numbers one by one. Let's loop through a string. Let's suppose we have a string word, okay, and we can give name hello, okay, and we can create a variable jar, okay, in word, okay. So this is the loop. So we will print every letter of this word variable. We will use this jar variable, okay. Let's print it. It will print all these letters in this string one by one. Okay, so we can see here it's printed every letter in this string one by one. Let's use range function in for loop. Let's add a for loop, and we can use the range function and print variable I, okay. So in this for loop, the range functions returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increments by 1 by default and stops before a specific number, okay. Let's print it. So we can see all these 5 numbers are printed. It starts from 0. So we can use the range function in for loops to print some specific numbers. So for loops are powerful features of Python and can be used to perform a wide range of tasks. They are particularly used for working with large amount of data and can make your code more efficient and readable. In Python, a function is a block of code that performs a specific task and can be called by other parts of the program. Functions are defined using the def keyword followed by the function name and a set of parentheses. For example, we have a function hello, and we can print something in this function. Hello CodeWithMuh. Okay, so you can call a function by using its name followed by a set of parentheses. For example, we can call this, okay. So if we print this, so you will see it's printing hello CodeWithMuh. So it's mean we can call the functions using this type of syntax. You have to just write the name of function and parentheses. Let's have another example of function name add, and I will add 2 variables in this function and return a plus b. Okay, so we can call this function by passing two values. Okay, so let me explain you the structure of this function. We know the functions can also take parameters, which are values passed to functions when it's called. Functions can also take parameters, which are values passed to a function when it is called. These values are used inside the function to perform a task. Also, you can return a value using the return keyword. Okay, so if we can assign this function to a variable result, okay, so we can print this result variable. So first of all, we will pass these two values into this function, and it will add these two values, and we will get the return of addition. Okay, and then we will save the value to this result variable. Now let's print it. So you can see we have the output 7. So functions are fundamental concept in Python programming and are used to organize and reuse code. They help to make your code more readable and maintainable and reusable by breaking it down into a smaller and more manageable blocks of code. In Python, a class is a blueprint for creating objects, for example instances, with certain properties and methods. A class is defined using the class keyword followed by the class name and a set of parentheses. For example, we have a class, the class name person, and we have a function into a class, int function, self, name and age. I will explain you the syntax as well. Self dot age is equal to age. So now let me explain you the syntax of this class. The init method is a special method that is called when an object of the class is created. It is used to initialize the properties of the object. For example, we have object P and we can pass some parameters to class John, and I will pass second value 30. So this Python objects has no both parameters value. Let's if we want to print p.name. So this object has two variables, name and age. So if we want to print only name, so we can print by using this syntax p.name. So if we want to print the age of this object, we can also print it as well. So you can see the age is printed. So this is the basic code of the class. You can create classes in Python. So classes are a fundamental concept in object-oriented programming and are used to model real-world concepts in software. They can help to organize and structure your code and make it more reusable and maintainable. I hope this tutorial was a valuable use of your time and that you have learned a lot about the basics of Python just in 1 hour. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. If you have any questions or feedback, leave a comment below. I will get back to you. Stay tuned for more videos until next time. Goodbye.